Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Show. I know it's been a long time since I've done the Saturday Show pre-recorded. Um, really, just no excuse for it. I did a couple of live shows, a couple live versions of this show. The sound you hear in the background is my washing machine. So you're hearing that. But it's been a long time since I sat in front of a Zoom meeting. Um, and I'm just here to kind of talk about, I don't when I pointed the camera, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I pretty much know what I've already talked about the situation in Gaza. Nothing more to say. Netanyahu's still a cricketer than cricket, still a fascist. The Democrat Republican parties are still exactly the same, supporting this mess. There's really nothing more that I can say about it. I do kind of want to talk about the week in review because if you've been watching my channel, I've had a huge week. Tuesday, I hosted a presidential debate, which was it went extremely well. I'll link that show into the description because I really want everybody who can to watch it. It deserves more views than it's getting. It was just really an insightful discussion. I can't wait to have the next one in March. Then Wednesday was the Republican debate. That went all the way crazy left. And then Thursday was my normal show, which I've been doing solo because I didn't have a guest Thursday. So it was a busy week. And to be honest, it's it's a lot of work to do shows back to back to back like that. I know I have another session coming up in I think it'll be February or March that I'll be doing shows like that where I'll be probably doing one Monday, probably doing one Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And if it feels like this, oh my goodness, I can I make it? Can I actually make it through a whole week? How do people do podcasts every single day? I mean, 3 days just had me just um 3 days had me just like worn out to the point I could not anymore. Um, I want to talk about a couple of things coming up next week. Now, next week, we're getting back to normal. I don't have a guest coming up. What is this? The week of the 16th? I'm looking at my calendar. So this week, well, no, this week is the end of this week. So next week is the 12th. So the 16th, I'll have a show with no guest. The 17th, I will be taping a show in Zoom. So that'll be broadcasted. And then Saturday, I'll be back here taping another episode via Zoom. So as the year kind of comes to an end, I do want to remind everybody to please fill out the top 10 events of 2023. I plan on doing a New Year's Eve show, but I still haven't gotten any forms back. So I'll put the link in the description section. Please fill that out and get it to me as soon as you possibly can. I want to make sure that show is done well and I have enough to talk about. I mean, I could talk about my own, but I want to get my audience involved in it. So please fill it out and get it back to me. I don't know if we'll have a couple of guests scattered, but like after that second week in December, I don't see any guests coming on. So it's going to be interesting to see how well I can do a show by myself. I got some big plans for 2024. The second debate will be coming up in March of 2024. The exact date, I think it's the second Tuesday of March in 2024. The Medicare for All March is coming up. It's just a lot of things coming up in 2024. I'll be doing, I'm thinking about, and I don't know how I feel about this, so you can comment in the comment section. I'm thinking about going live on my birthday, the 4th. I usually don't do shows that first week in January, but I might because it's a monumental one. And so I'm thinking about going live. I may not. I just haven't made up my mind yet. So that's coming up. I got some big plans in terms of my business that I'm kind of keeping under wraps until around mid-April. So the book probably may not happen because, as I said, I did an announcement a few weeks back that I was doing a book harder than I thought. So it's not that it won't happen. It's just that it will be delayed probably till 2025. And that's the spin cycle. I know my wash machine is in like the worst place. It's in the kitchen. I know, but that's where it's at. Wish I had enough money to move it downstairs to the basement, but I don't, so I had to kind of tolerate this sound. I don't know. Dang, I forgot what I was talking about. Had plans for 2024 is going to be a wild year. I mean, we have and it's all because it's the presidential election. We got that coming up, and it's usually the normal thing: Democrat, Republican, blah 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 blah. These candidates running now are going to make the 2024 race very, very interesting. And it's going to be I don't want to make predictions just yet, but I do think that we may have a president that does not come out of the Democrat or Republican parties. Right now, in like the 6 battleground states or 5: Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona. Wait a minute, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin. I'm forgetting one. That sound is getting on my nerves. Sorry, y'all, but like I said, I got it. What's the 6 states? Oh my goodness, I got 5 out of the 6. Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio. No, not Ohio. Ohio is not one of them. Florida's not one of them. No state in the South is, except for Georgia. One of the Carolinas. What's the battleground states? Help me out here. Well, I know there's 6 of them, and Trump is leading. It may be 5, but I think it's 6. Trump is leading in all but one of them, and the Democrats are just ignoring polls and doing what they do best: snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. I mean, that's what they do better than anybody else. But I do want to do. I'm gonna wait a second here. Hold on just a second here. I do want to do a separate video, and I may do that Thursday where I rank my top 10 choices for president. That would be interesting. I think that's what I'll do. I'll rank all 10 of them, and it'll be my list. So, there's two people that won't make it, but I think that's a really good idea, is to talk about other candidates, because it feels like with this election, we actually have choices, which is amazing that we even have them. Usually, like I said, pardon me. Usually, like I said, it's Democrat, Republican, that's it. You either vote for one. Yes, there's always a Green Party candidate, there's always a Libertarian. But I think this year, or this election cycle, we've heard more about independent candidates than ever before. So it'll be interesting to do that list. I'm trying to wait until the machine starts making sound so I can put it on pause again. But it's gonna, like I said, I will not be shocked if for the first time not the first time in a long time, that we don't get a president with a D or an R behind their name. I think the time is right. I think people are just frustrated with the two choices. 69% of people don't want Trump to run, and 70% of people don't want Biden to run. And if they're willing to not vote for those two, we may get a president, like I said, that doesn't have a D or an R behind their name, which would be really interesting to see how Congress would act if that happens. But 2024 is going to be a humdinger of a year. And I look forward to it, because again, we've got to change what's going on. The war in Gaza, it's just, we are throwing hundreds of millions. I think Biden wanted 110 million, and I've heard higher numbers. I've heard nothing about a ceasefire, which is really scary, that he's not even saying, hey, you all need to stop or we'll stop the funding. That's just really scary. In terms of Trump, the Democrats seem to have one card: vote for Biden because he's not Trump. And that may have worked in 2020. I just can't see that working again. It's like, no, I have a hard time convincing people I'm not scared of Trump. Me voting for a third party candidate doesn't mean I'm giving Trump my vote. It means I'm voting for a third party candidate. The popular vote does not determine the election. It's the Electoral College that does. So I get really sick of hearing how, you're just giving Trump the presidency. Well, I mean, if Biden were doing better, maybe I would vote for him. Maybe. But I'm just not scared of Trump. Maybe I'm just no, I'm not on anything. Maybe I'm just naive in that manner, but nothing. He's never done any of his threats. He was going to lock Hillary Clinton up. She's still not in jail. He was going to build the wall. Biden's finished building. I mean, there's so many threats that he's made and not followed through on them. What am I scared of? Oh, he's going to use the White House to punish his enemies. Don't all presidents do that to a certain extent? They may not be public about it like Trump is, but to some point, if you criticize, I mean, look at what happened to Eric Adams. He criticized Biden, and now all of a sudden he's under investigation. Really? Like I said, every president, at least in the modern era, has used the White House to get to punish their political enemies. Trump's just saying the quiet part out loud. And in terms of his threats, like I said, he never follows through, I can't think of anything except for the Muslim ban. And that was struck down by the court, so they had to go back and add other countries in to make it appear it wasn't a Muslim ban, but we all knew it was a Muslim ban. Besides that, I can't think of like any threat that Trump has made that he kept. I'm like he fulfilled the threat. None of his political enemies, like I said, Hillary Clinton is still whining that Jill Stein caused her the election. Girl, sit down. He hasn't brought up Obama in years. He just hasn't. He hasn't done anything to make me scared. I'm just not scared. It doesn't make sense to me why people are so scared of Trump. He's not going to do anything that he's threatening. We have a check system. We have the Supreme Court. We have rallies. We have marches. We have things that we can do if he goes left or right. And the whole, well, he may do this. White may do the same thing. We're either going to get a civil war with Trump, maybe, or World War III with Biden, maybe. That's still war. I mean, say what you want about Trump, and I have really nothing good to say, but there were no new wars started under his administration. Yes, he did drone strikes. Yes, he did bombings, but there was no new war started. Biden has like now too. What changes? What, instead of, here's a real big old hint for the Democrats. Instead of using Trump to scare people to vote for Biden, why don't you talk about the one or two things that Biden got right? I have yet to hear a concrete argument about why I should vote for Biden. It's always, we have to stop Trump. It's never low unemployment numbers, which can be manipulated and I think are garbage. Inflation coming down, which again, I think can be manipulated. There's nothing that the Democrats can turn to. So when Joe Biden loses, and it'll be when, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, well, Dr. West or Jill Stein or Claudia De La Cruz or Robert F. Kennedy or any of those names. Look at yourself and your crappy policies and change them. You have time to change this. But again, I'll say it. And I'll say it again. I seriously don't think that Biden wants to win. I mean, he's just, I don't know who his campaign manager is. They're just not, I mean, he hasn't even, again, give Trump credit. He holds rallies a lot. He holds a lot of rallies, maybe too many, but he's out there, right? He's out there campaigning or hasn't shown up to a debate yet, probably won't show up to a debate because he doesn't need to. He can leave the Republican field by 60%. So why even show up? But what has Biden done? He hasn't been out. And then when he goes out, it's this incoherent, could you say that again? What were you saying? What? I don't understand. I wish I could share clips, but people say when I do that on Zoom, they can't hear it. But it's just ridiculous in terms of, I seriously question whether he wants to win. If for some reason he drops out, Kamala's not getting the nomination. She gone. Nobody's gonna vote for her. She lost her own state in the primaries. There's no way. I think she's probably the only one that's a worse candidate than Biden. They'll get somebody like a Gavin Newsom or what's her name in Michigan? Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know what her name is, but the governor of Michigan or maybe the governor of Illinois. They're not gonna get. They're not going to get Kamala or is it Kamala? They're not going to get Kamala to run. Nobody in the Democratic Party wants her to run. If it was a race between her and Biden, Biden would easily beat her. Easily beat her. I mean, you just think about it. There's that sound again. Hold on a sec. Okay, so I just got up and stopped the machine so you wouldn't have to hear that noise. So you won't hear for the rest of the video. As soon as I get done with this, I'll pop it back in because by the time this loads up, the drawing should be done. I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about why people are so scared of Trump. He's never done anything in terms of his threats. Oh, well, if I went back up, if I talk about it, and I've talked about it before, just excuse me because the washing machine kind of distracted me. Yeah, 2024 is gonna be humdinger. We got choices. But let's see, it's actually November. So we actually technically have less than a year before we need to like really discuss this, but hey, that's what we do. Um oh boy, I really forgot what I was going to talk about. I may have to do another video tomorrow to figure out what was I talking about before that machine noise got on my nerves. Um Not going to talk about my plans because I said I'm going to unveil my business plans in April. We're going to have another debate in March. Why are people scared of Trump? Oh, I know what I said. Okay. So I was talking about the Democrats need to stop using Trump to get people to vote for Biden and maybe, just maybe talk about his accomplishments, but you can't because there's so few far in between. Like I've never heard a Biden supporter, and yes, they somehow exist. I don't know why. Talk about like what he's actually done. Um, they just talk about, well, he's better than the alternative. Well, shoot, I'm better than the alternative. I mean, we got that's your whole standard. You're gonna trust a man with nuclear codes because he's not the other guy. What? How is Biden losing in polls in 5 states to a man that has 91 charges in court, possibly going to prison? He should be at least beating him by at least 20 to 25 points, at least. But he's losing. It's like maybe turn that mirror around and do some self reflection and stop blaming people that don't want to vote for you. It's your fault, not mine. I'm not the one that said, "Hey, you could look. I guarantee you'll get a $2,000 check," and then said, "Oh, well, you already got 600, so we'll give you 1,400." I'm not the one that promised HBCU students that their debts would be forgiven if it's under $125,000, and then told a group of civil rights leaders, "Oh, now is not the time." I'm not the one that said we're not going to do public drawing on lands, but it's increased under under your administration. That's not me. That has nothing to do with me. That's you. And now that you're paying for it, you just instead of saying, "Oops, I got this wrong." No, it's you're giving Trump a vote. You don't own the Democrat Party. That's another thing you need to realize. You don't own my vote. I will vote for who I want. If I want to vote Republican, that's how I will vote. Since I don't vote Republican, if I want to vote third party, that's the way I'm going to vote. It's your job, DNC, to convince me to vote for you, and you're not doing it. There's no accomplishment that you can point to. Like I said, you just pull out this threat of Trump like I'm supposed to be scared. I'm not. I've said it before. I'm not scared. Trump does not scare me. I don't sit up and think, oh, democracy's on the ballot. We don't have a democracy. We have an oligarchy. It's dictated by what corporations give money to politicians. That's what our government is. We don't have a democracy. If we had a democracy, Bernie Sanders would be president. I said what I said. If we had a democracy, I can't think of her name now right now, but the mayor of Buffalo wouldn't be the mayor, would be the other lady whose name I cannot think of. If we had a true democracy, Nina Turner would be Congresswoman Nina Turner. Please stop using democracy. Democracy's on the ballot. We do not have a democracy, period. Repeat after me. We do not have a democracy, period. We do not have a democracy. We don't. Stop saying it's on the ballot. The average person could care less. Nobody's sitting there like, dang, this whole chicken used to be $6 and now it's 15. Dang on it. If we had a democracy, this chicken wouldn't be that much. Nobody's doing that. Talk about the things. I'm giving y'all all kinds of clues because I know you're not going to do it. It's not like we're going to do this, this, and this. It's, well, don't vote for us because we're not that guy. And you're doing the same things that guy is doing, but even worse. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And I wonder, with that kind of argument, again, do they want to win? Does and people say, you never talk about the RNC. What's there to talk about? They tell me exactly who they are. They tell me I don't have to doubt. When I look at a Republican, I know who they are. I don't have to sit here and wonder, they're telling me, hey, we're not going to do anything for you. So I don't expect anything. But the Democrats, how they're so wishy-washy. It's like, we want health care, but then you want to keep the Affordable Care Act that's so expensive some people can't afford it. Give me a break. Oh, if Medicare comes across my desk, I'll veto it, and you're for health care for everyone? You can't be. You can't be. Look what Biden did on the $15 minimum wage. Well, it was all the Republicans voted against it. That's true. And they should have been shamed by the Democratic Party in terms of flying across the country and telling voters, hey, this Republican senator voted against a minimum wage hike. They're affecting your pocketbooks. Did they do that? Nope. Instead, they got 8 other weaselly Democrats to join them. Stop with the excuses. Stop with the excuses. Stop making them. Stop. You can't do. They don't work. They won't work anymore. They do not work. Come up with something else because they're not working. We're not listening. We stopped listening to you when the oil drilling increased. We stopped listening to you when you said you were going to complete building the wall because this money was allocated for it. Like, you can't put that money someplace else. Like what they gonna do? Come back and sue you? Like, for real? For real. It's a mess. And I just I can't wrap my mind around why people keep voting for the two-party system. It hasn't benefited anybody. I wish that people would just get their fear out of the way and just go for it. It's a hard thing to do at first. I'm not even gonna lie. But once you vote third party, it's like I voted my conscience, and I can feel good about the way I voted. Sure, my person won't win because winning isn't everything. I mean, the people who supported George W. Bush won. And look how that turned out. The people who supported Donald Trump, they won. Look what happened. So winning always isn't everything. It's the primary thing. It's the primary thing. But y'all got to do better. I don't know. I mean, you won't. You'll never see this video. You'll say, I'm a Russia bot. or I'm a Republican or something else, but I'll tell you what I'm not is a supporter of yours. That's what I'm not. Um, so those are my thoughts. Like I said, I'm so sorry about the washer machine being that incredibly loud. I didn't realize it was, but join me let's see, Thursday for the Tracy show. I will, if I can remember it, I will do a countdown of the 10 top candidates for president to show everyone we have choices. We definitely have choices. We can make, you know, you can vote for any of them, as long as you don't vote Democrat or Republican, because we've got to make them take notice. And until we do, we're going to just keep getting the military budget is going to keep getting increased. We're going to keep seeing homelessness rise. We're going to keep seeing prices rise. Nothing's going to change. Nothing changes until we change. So with that, I'll end it. I want to thank you for watching this. Remember to subscribe to this channel. I think I'm up to 145 in terms of subscribers. So I'm about 140, 45. I'm one, whatever, three. Okay, so no, 155. 155 away from 300. I may not make 300 this year because it's those subscribers, y'all coming in a little slow for me, but help me to get as close as possible. Remember to like this video, comment on this video, fill out the form that's going to be linked into the description section. And as always, remember that you can support me on buymeacoffee.com/Tracy Media. I will see you Thursday. Have a great day.